Hello and welcome to the Daily Dulcinea. Today is August 8th, 2008, and on this day in history in 1964, President Richard Nixon resigned from office. Chris, can you take us through the events of that day?
Sure, Kate. It was a humid August day, and thousands of people packed Washington to witness this historic event. And he was the only president to ever resign office. So this was obviously a huge day in American history. And he resigned amid the huge Watergate scandal that pretty much ruined his presidency.
Right, and took over Washington.
Right.
So what was Watergate? Can you tell our viewers about Watergate?
Well, it started actually 2 years before he resigned, and it all started when there was a break-in at the Democratic National Convention, and several members of Nixon's team were implicated in these events. And from the get-go, he said he had no awareness of these events, and that he had nothing to do with it. And eventually became known that there were tapes that recorded conversations in both the Oval Office and conversations with his aides on telephones. And obviously, the key members in Congress, they wanted hold of these tapes and they wanted to see what they were saying. And that's something that was a huge issue because Nixon did not want to release these tapes, citing executive privilege.
Right. And so how did the tapes eventually come out then?
Well, eventually the Supreme Court demanded that he release these tapes. And once the Supreme Court gets involved, obviously there's no wiggle room, you have to do it. So he did release those tapes, and they completely showed that he had awareness of these events and that he did know, which obviously he lied.
And implicated him in every way. And so what would have happened if he hadn't resigned? Where would he be?
Well, if he hadn't resigned, he definitely would have gotten impeached. And there were already people talking about that. And his closest aides even said to him, hey, look, Mr. President, obviously, this is hard. This is not a great thing. And, something's going to happen. And we don't want you to go through this. So.
And so the smoking gun came out June 23rd.
Right.
And so he waited quite a long time before, almost a month and a half before resigning. And can you tell us a little bit about that quote that he had that day that exemplifies this need to keep going?
Well, President Nixon always said that he'd never been a quitter. And in one quote he said, "I have never been a quitter, and to leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first." So he did want to do the best thing that he thought he could do to kind of, maybe help make his image not one of just completely not caring about the country. He did care about the country.
Right. So. And some people at the crowd, with the crowds or at the crowds that day, they actually were clapping when he left.
Yeah, it was reported that some of the people in the crowd were clapping. I think that they wanted to show their support because obviously one can only imagine how horrifically embarrassing something like this could be,
Right.
So they wanted to kind of just show that, okay, you made a mistake, but we're with you, and you did the right thing, because he did do the right thing in resigning.
Right.
So.
Well, thank you very much for your report. Mm-hmm. And for more information on this story as well as others, please visit us at findingdulcinea.com. Thanks, and we hope to see you again here tomorrow.